Wilson Morales from Blackfilmandtv. Tim, how's it going?
Good. How you doing, Wilson? Good to see you.
Good. It's I gotta ask, when they said this, I'm a fan of Yellowstone, so when they said they were doing a prequel, I was already invested. I'm in, and then obviously you're casting the show. I was like, okay, let's see what Tim's gonna bring to the table. Boom, they got Faith in there. They got this rest of the cast. I'm like, okay, how did this come about for you? Did you already know Taylor? He says, I got a part for you, or this is something you auditioned for?
No, we'd actually done a flashback on the Yellowstone series for this new season. We'd shot last year. So Taylor had called. I didn't know Taylor. He called and asked if I'd be interested in doing a little part on the Yellowstone show. And he called me and I said, come, if you come up with something interesting, I'd love to do it. But I don't want to be taken to the train station or anything like that. Yeah. So he said, give me a week and I'll come up with something. So he called me back a week later and he said he'd come up with the flashback of me being the great grandfather, or great, whatever, how many greats it is, grandfather of John Dutton and being the original founder of the Yellowstone Ranch. And would that interest me? And I said, well, that interests me a lot. And then he said, you'll have a wife in one of these flashbacks. So would Faith be interested? And of course she was interested. So we did the flashback scenes last year. And then I got a call from him a couple of months afterwards and said, the studio really likes these flashback scenes and we're considering doing a prequel to Yellowstone. Would you guys be interested in carrying these characters through a whole series? And we were like, yeah, well, let's start seeing the scripts and let's see what happens. And boy, we started reading the scripts and we were all in. It was just, he's such an incredibly talented writer. I mean, and the scripts to this show is the best stuff that I've ever read. And being able to bring this character to life, which I love the character and the writing for. B, being able to do it with my wife and work with her on this show. And then all of a sudden Sam Elliott's involved in the show. So, and there was just sort of, you're kind of boxed in. There's no way out when all those things happen. It just makes your decision pretty easy.
So I got two questions. They're not kind of related, but I got to throw it in there before time runs out. One, having seen Yellowstone and seeing what the Dutton family is like, and obviously seeing this show, we want to see characteristics. Like, where did the trait, start from, Yeah. So how would you best describe your character? And then talk to me as you end off working in that scene with Tom Hanks.
Working with Tom was great. He's just a great guy and a good friend. So for him to come in and do that scene was pretty special. So he didn't have to do that, and nobody would ever expect him to do that. But the fact that he agreed to do it and come out and just nailed it and knocked it out of the park, and it was so nice to everybody on set. He's a gentleman anyway, so it was great to have him on there. My character, I think he's a guy with a troubled past. I think he's gone through a lot. He's had back then, I don't know that certainly they didn't know what post-traumatic stress was, and his Civil War experience and certainly his experience after Reconstruction in the South, I think were part of the motivating factors that he wanted to leave where he was and find an untainted place and a place to raise his family. And I think that was what was his driving force, is to put his family in a place that he could outrun some memories, I think, for him in a lot of ways. So I think that, and then you certainly, with James's character, or Margaret's character, and with Elsa's character, you certainly start seeing the Dutton family traits show up as the series progresses. You see where Beth gets her fire from. You see where John gets his steeliness and his family commitment from. You see all that with Elsa and Margaret and James. All those things start coming to life, and there is a strong Dutton gene that runs through it. You can tell that right away.
That's what I love about a weekly series. I look forward to seeing it. Tim, it's good talking to you. Obviously, hopefully we'll talk down the road, season 2.
Right on, sir. Good talking to you. Take care.